we'll figure that out. Amy, are you able to hear us? Can you try speaking so we can see if we can hear you?
Test, test, test.
Thank you.
Okay. Michael, are you on? You're on the call here.
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Are you able to take minutes?
Yeah, I can do that.
That'd be awesome. Thank you. Okay. All right. So we'll call the meeting to order. It's 5:35 and I don't see any public here for non-agenda items, but I do see new people in the room. Should I ask for introductions?
Yes, thank you. So joining us tonight, we have Erin Ringsred. She has been with the city for almost a year. And we're just now expanding her introductory. And then Ethan Schaefer is new as of last week. And they are both in the planning department. Erin has a focus on landscape architecture and more of the special projects, and Ethan will be working in development review.
Nice.
Primarily. Of course, there's crossover, but if either of you want to add anything.
Hi, all. My name is Ethan. I use they and he pronouns. Started last Wednesday with the department. Prior to that, I worked for the City of Colorado Springs Planning Department and Development Review for 2 years as a Planner 1. And so just started as a Planner 2 here in Manitou. So very excited to be working with y'all.
Awesome. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
And then as Chelsea said, my name is Erin Ringsred. I am a licensed landscape architect, so I have that background, and then have also worked in planning and have been here since February of this year. So thank you.
Nice. Well, nice to meet you all. Do we want to? Sure. So I'm Allison Gerbig, and I am the chair of the Housing Advisory Board, and I live in Manitou and have lived here for almost, let's see how old my son is, like 18 years. So yeah, so it's been good. I've been on the board since the inception, and we're making some housing affordability progress these days. So want to go?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Aaliyah German. I'm the vice chair of the Housing Advisory Board and have been on it since its inception with Allison, and have lived in Manitou for 9 years this month.
I'm Barbie Bunn, and I'm an alternate and have been on this. I think this is my 3rd year as alternate. And I've lived in Manitou for, it will be 40 years in 24.
Amy, do you want to go?
Yeah, hi, Amy Mock, she, her, and I'm new to the board, brand new. And I think this is my 3rd board meeting. So yeah, there's a few new ones of us as well. So we'll all be in this together. And I've been in Manitou about a decade now.
Hi, I'm Michael Quintana. I've been in Colorado Springs for about 7, coming up on 8 years, but been in Manitou for the past 2 and joined the board at the same time as Amy.
Awesome. And then we have one more board member, Crystal Carr, and she'll be joining us hopefully soon. And she's also a new member. And
You see one person.
Yes, I'm gonna run up there and let her in.
okay.
For some reason, I don't have the right permissions on this computer.
Of course.
Hi, Crystal. Can you test your mic for us?
Yeah. Are you able to hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Crystal, we were just introducing ourselves. There's some new planning staff here, so.
Awesome. I am Crystal Carr. I have lived in Manitou for the last 10 years. And I work in Colorado Springs as the city's homeless prevention and response coordinator.
All right. That was it.
Great.
Okay. So old business, do we have any updates on where we are with the energy efficiency program?
We have not had any applications since we spoke at the retreat.
Okay. And what's the balance? Yesterday I didn't know that number. Do we know offhand?
Give me 2 minutes and I will find it.
Okay, awesome.
And was there ever any resolution with that one applicant where we were going back and forth about whether to provide them funds?
They withdrew their application.
Oh, okay. Probably too long, huh? That's too bad.
So I just wondered, I know our focus is going to be this Proposition 123, but do we want to do any more work or adjustments on the energy efficiency program for, spending that money, doing any adjustments?
It wouldn't be a bad idea to, see if there's anything in addition we could do that people would use, since we're not getting a lot of applicants.
Yeah, and I know there's been a handful of things that we've talked about, and I saw what you sent, the kind of the notes from the retreat, and I hadn't seen that before and didn't have a chance to look through it, but my recollection from the retreat is that we were unsure if it was a priority for next year, but then we did decide it would be, since it's an ongoing project, that it wouldn't be a primary focus, but something we didn't want to drop since there's momentum behind it.
Yeah, and I think the thing was to spend the balance. I think how does it come? Yeah, it was like goal number 1, spend the remaining, and it says 10,000, but I know it's, remaining 10,000. What was the remaining balance for the energy efficiency program? And it's just.
That balance is $6,384.
Can I make a suggestion? Because when you said that last night, and I had seen it on your briefing, sorry, I didn't address it earlier, but rather than a goal being just to spend the rest of the money, I would say just continue with the program. I wouldn't see this as a goal of just spending money. It's to have a program that's of value to the citizens of Manitou. So I would just suggest rewording that a little bit.
Okay. Sure. I wasn't sure if that was when I had it and was presenting it, I was like, because I think Hannah had done the slides and had put on the budget, it said 10,000, and I was like, so then I was like, oh, are we asking for more money? But then I was sort of fumbling for my words. So that's why I was like, well, if you want to refund it and fill it.
And that may be what ends up in the budget, the 10K, since that's what was on the slides. That may very well and be what ends up in the budget. So that's not a bad thing either.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that there's you know, I'm happy to, I know there's been a couple of things that we've talked about in the past, and I have some notes on. I'm happy to, you know, kind of go back to those and maybe in a future meeting come with a couple suggestions and for a short discussion, so that we can maybe try and make it more successful. I mean, I think what you said, Nancy, is exactly the intent, right? To have a program that's of use for the citizens. But it's just not getting much traction as we know. And so, you know, I think I recall we also talked about at the retreat, you know, as part of, there's a lot of discussion about kind of advertising and education, and that this would be, you know, among so many other things, a piece of that, right, could fold into some of those activities for the year.
Anyone on Amy or Michael or Crystal have any thoughts? I know you weren't originally here, but I know you've heard us talk a lot about it. And yeah, it's just language on the retreat. It actually does say continue. I must have just in my mind thought we were just trying to exhaust it. So because I didn't know if it would get filled again. So I think that was sort of my question around that. So thoughts from anyone else?
Yeah, I just remember having that discussion and agreeing to continue the program kind of as is.
Okay.
Yeah, I concur with Michael on that it was talking about trying to like do that and, you know, being open to looking at, can we increase some education about it, but yeah, just continuing it.
Okay, awesome. So I think, so on, yeah, I had put the goal as spend, but the goal would be continue the energy efficiency program. And then the target is more just reviewing and adjusting if needed, not necessarily to spend the funds, but to provide the opportunity. So,
yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. Anything else on the energy efficiency program?
I was just gonna say that I would love to hear Aaliyah's ideas and briefly talk about it maybe in a future session, because I wasn't there at the conception of the energy efficiency program. And I know, excuse me, I know that neither was Mr. Quintana or Miss Carr. So I welcome former board advisory if we wanted to schedule 15 minutes to just look at adjusting that. And for me, like, what have we tried, what have we not tried, kind of thing.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Just thinking timing wise, Aaliyah, do you feel like December would work for you to have a conversation about that, or would you want to wait until the first of the year?
Well, I was going to ask if we are planning on having the December meeting. I'm assuming yes, but I just wanted to check if people are going to be here. It's December, it's the 20th, right?
Is it?
I will not be here.
Okay. No Barb.
No Barb. Okay.
I will be here.
You'll be here. Okay.
Mhm.
I'll be here. That's Crystal.
Okay.
Amy and Michael.
I can join via Zoom.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm here too.
Then- Okay, then we can plan on having it. Then yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're out, but we'll take some good notes. Okay. Awesome. All right, so moving along, Proposition 123 planning. So, here we are opting in. What's next? I don't know. Lots, right? We talked about it during our retreat that would be our focus, right? If we opted in, and we have a whole list of things to be doing related to that. And I just don't know exactly where to start. But one thing, I guess I just wanted to ask planning, and Chelsea, you might not know firmly, but I believed that I remember Denise saying that planning doesn't have capacity even in 2024 to have like a consultant if we tried to submit like a letter of interest to get funding for their like planning capacity opportunity to get a staff member.
So what I've been told is that we as staff do not have capacity. As far as getting another staff member, I don't believe that even our staff would have the capacity to oversee that staff. I don't know about consultants in particular, but I do know that our staff does not have capacity for 2024.
Okay. So would that be something, would I like ask Denise about that? Like, I just briefly looked into it and then attached a link late as I am running late here, about the planning grant funds. The letter of intent is coming up quick, December 4th. So I don't even know if we'd have time, but it could provide, if awarded, the ability to hire like a consultant or someone to help with our planning around, look deeper into, zoning and the code and doing maybe some surveying. I'm not sure.
So I would recommend me and Hannah.
Okay.
Typically the way that those sorts of grants work, and I don't know about Prop 123 funds specifically, but typically it would require the city to go out for bid or request for information, something like that,
Okay.
to get a budget identified
Okay.
and the scope of work identified prior to requesting the funds. Again, I'm not sure. So if you could find out more maybe, and then we could have a conversation, that might be a good way to go about it.
Okay.
And I was wondering, like, what is that? So if we're able to get that budgeting kind of request to look at, would that be something that we could do on the Housing Advisory Committee to like write that grant for you guys to take that off your plate? Or at least rough draft it?
It would have to be. I've been told very firmly that staff will not be dedicating staff resources in this coming year because our is too full.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Chair, I have a question.
Yes, Amy.
So I like the local planning capacity grant program. Thank you for sending over the information. It does look like it could support new staff wages or hiring consultants. But there is a 20% required match. And I'm just wondering if Councilwoman Nancy Fortune, sorry, I have COVID brain. Would like to comment on whether like that would probably even be looked at by city council.
20%, you said?
Yeah.
It would have to come out of your funds. So you do have funds that potentially could be used. And is it a full-time? I did not read the link, so I don't know what's available.
Just looking at it.
And when's it
Yeah.
due?
I mean, I think
Allison?
we're past due.
It's due December 4th. And then that's just the letter of interest. And then the application window is January 3rd through February 15th of next year. And it's up to 200K in grant funds to support new staff wages, hiring consultants, and implementing new systems and technologies, revising land use development codes, regional collaborations, developing future commitments, or other efforts that achieve fast track goals required by Prop 123. And there's up to $3 million available.
Allison, I was wondering if maybe you and I could get together in the next week and really sit down and look at some of these, because I would hate to, it's tight and I know planning has no capacity to even supervise a full-time staff person. On the other hand, there might be something lesser that we could get to just provide consultancy to the HAB specifically. And I think that would, if we could write something like that. And historically, the committees, the advisory committees such as the HAB have written their own grants. So I think that the potential is there, but it is a very tight time frame. But man, I hate leaving money on the table if there's a possibility of getting this capacity. So maybe, and I've got some other things later I'll say about some potential stuff, but for now, I think it might be worth just looking a little bit more deeply into that.
And capacity is really a gap we have, knowledge and understanding.
Yes.
And my, one recollection from the retreat was one of when we talked about kind of what would our first steps be. It was educating ourselves. It was it was making connections, maybe connecting with having somebody from DOLA come and give us a presentation, have a Q&A, have that be somebody that we can, connect with, establish a relationship with, and then from there, reaching out to the connections that we do have in the community already who might be interested in partnering and just, beginning to educate ourselves and explore what opportunities there might be. That would be the first 3 months. And anyway, so having, a consultant to support that would certainly be very useful, but understand that there's some potential challenges to making it all work out.
Yes. No, exactly. And that, I mean, I think they rolled this out I think in October, and then we were just sort of getting ourselves on board to try to even opt in. So we're just doing a little catch up. So as I'm looking at things, I'm like, oh, shoot, look at this. So yeah, I think it's worth it. So I'll set some time with Nancy to see what could work. And then I think I have support on the screen and around the table to figure out how we could put something together if needed. Am I hearing that correctly? Got a thumbs up?
Yes.
And some yeses. Awesome. Thank you. All right. So that was one item. And then the next again was just like what Aaliyah was starting to talk about, is just setting up sort of a plan, a bit of a timeline. I mean, it will be a loose timeline, I'm sure, but just to get an idea of how we do want to, move forward and look at opportunities related to this again, community, it's a community thing. And I think just an example is when I presented yesterday to council, some person turned around and was like, oh my God, I never knew of Prop 123. It's really exciting. I'd love to learn more about it. I mean, so people were sort of expressing interest around one excitement that there's this opportunity for, individuals and, community people to potentially bring that to Manitou, and then just information about what it is. So. That's
Chair, it was also in staff's weekly report, and I was happy to see it. So thank you. To staff.
Oh, nice. It just said that there was that Manitou opted in, or
Yes, that council had decided to opt in, and it had a link to Prop 123 and information about it. So I was happy to see that and appreciate that effort from staff.
is
Yeah.
Denise, how she sends out that, or her sends out like a weekly report in an email.
Yeah. I think I was added to it when I was on this granted to this
I think
board.
we all should get it in our email somewhere.
If you don't see it, maybe it's in your spam, but it's a wonderful report to really help you keep on track of what's happening in all the departments.
And I haven't really had a chance to, I think you've talked with folks, but I haven't had a chance to thank council for agreeing to opt into Prop 123 and staff for, pulling that together. I know Hannah's not here, but she sent out the notification. I know she was involved, so appreciate everyone's support.
I concur.
Nancy, did you have something?
Yeah, are you done with, I've got a couple more things I wanted to say about Prop 123.
Yeah, we're just still, I
Okay.
didn't really have, as you see, like bullets, because I was like, I didn't even know where to go with it.
There's,
so.
first of all, it's the most I've ever seen council get behind a housing initiative. So I think that, it seems like maybe the scales have tipped finally in terms of acknowledging that housing is in fact a problem that needs to be a priority in the city. So I was very excited about that too. Secondly, and I've shared this with Allison, but the URA chair would like to meet with the two of you because there's tremendous interest on the URA side in getting affordable housing into the URA. And there's
Excellent.
some potential for that. Say again?
It's a first too.
Exactly. Yeah. It's been, the interest has been there for a while, it just hasn't been expressed publicly. So,
okay.
And I know that now that, and who was it, Allison, that told me that they're gonna talk with Cheyenne Village and let them know that they might be able to opt in and to start researching it, because Cheyenne Village has come to a standstill. The rehabilitation of those cabins has come to a standstill in great part because of funding. So, and they intended it for affordable housing. So that might be another place that you might want to actually contact the developers there and say, and with a proposal with here's what's available to you.
Yes.
And you might want to take advantage of this because they had always intended originally for those cabins to be more affordable housing.
Yes.
And with the increase in prices and so on, it's harder and harder to do that. But the AMI, if I remember, under Prop 123 goes higher than just 80% or something, correct? So that's good. So the URA, Cheyenne Village, and getting out. I would also say finding new members for the HAB is pretty important, and the right members. And did I put you in touch with that one real estate person who was potentially interested?
Yes, she called me and I need to keep playing phone tag. So
yeah, I would definitely get with her and encourage her because she's very interested. She's a real estate person, developer. She's very interested in affordable housing. And it just seems like she might be a very good, because you do need 2 more full-time members. So I think that you've got a lot of work to do this year.
Yes.
And coming up with a strategy, and I'd be willing to work with you to start putting a framework together, Allison. That's what I kind of like to do in Aaliyah as well, to put a framework together in moving forward with this. Because I'm very excited about this opportunity, and I think the timing is just so perfect. So those are, oh, and lastly, and I also shared this with you, Allison. I was at the El Paso County Housing Authority celebration 2 weeks ago, sat next to the director of Greshio Housing, who I shared that, we were opting in, and he's very excited to work with us. So I think Lee Patke, yeah.
Great.
So there just seems to be, the timing is just good. And if we jump on it and really start putting action steps in place, I'm just confident that we can do some good, you guys can do some good stuff. And I want to work with you to help make that happen. So, and I've got experience to do things. When I was on OSAC, we didn't have planning. We fell under OSAC or under planning when I was on OSAC. And we were able to do a lot as a committee without taking very much staff time with it. So I can help a little bit with that. But it is, as we stated, it's going to take everyone rolling up their sleeves. But man, you guys, I think could do some great stuff if we get this plan in place. So
Yeah.
and hopefully, and if I overstep let me know, because I will.
No.
But
You are, yeah, it's a gift. So thank you. Because I am, and I don't know what about the three of you on the screen, but yeah, I think we're all just like I was celebrated it. And I think Barb, you were like, okay, like, yeah. And I agree. There were great questions, and I was actually surprised that that everyone voted yes, because I was a little worried not worried, I was counting. I was like, I think we'll be okay. But I really appreciated, like, Councilman Shada had great comments about trying to increase, current affordable or everybody just had really good comments. So yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
And I just used, I just pulled language out of the Plan Manitou there was like a bottom section that we had to write some kind of, what are we going to do? And it was like, again, why recreate the wheel? There was just some content about measuring the number of affordable rentals versus not already in that language. So I just sort of pulled out the info that I thought would work and stuck it in there and crossed my fingers that it would be accepted. And I guess it was. So we're on the list now.
so we definitely, that was a question too. We definitely are good.
We are on, if you go to
Mm-hmm.
people that opted in, it says Manitou City of. So we're on there.
Cool.
Can I just add that if we were to do this letter of intent before December 4th, it is asking for a specific project for the funding and the project details. So
yeah, we would just need to dig into that. I started watching a webinar today.
mhm.
It didn't finish, but it had a whole list of opportunities, and some of them were like just to have someone to be dig into the codes.
Okay, so that could be the project, is like hire additional staff is the project. I got you.
Yeah, it said, it talked about, people asked about like if it was a current staff member doing other stuff, and they're like, fine, but you just have to bill for the specifics. So if you're hiring a consultant that would just be doing Prop 123 stuff, you'd be okay, because it talked about different things like IT tracking and all sorts of stuff, opportunities.
Okay. That's awesome. Thank you for staying on top of that. I really appreciate that.
Trying to.
If you do decide to put in for it, it would have to be approved by Denise.
Okay.
So I mean, there's always a possibility that you guys wouldn't be allowed to put it in, but.
Oh, for sure.
if-
And it
if-
has a 20% match. I mean,
Yeah.
Exactly. But with the, if the scope is appropriate, it might fit within Denise's parameters. We'll
Okay.
see. We'll see.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't know. I know everyone has jobs in life, and that anyone have time to do a little more deeper dive into that? I mean, not again, it's the letter would have to come December, by December 4th, a letter of intent. So we'd have to have time to sort of dig into it. And then I'm going to connect with Nancy, and then we'd have to connect with Denise. So
Specifically on that.
My recommendation, and forgive me for stepping in, at this meeting, it would be beneficial to decide what the project is ideally, because I know the term, extra staff has been thrown around versus consultant, and in grant terms, those are two very different projects.
yes.
So I think maybe narrowing down what exactly folks would be digging into would be beneficial at this point, just since we won't be meeting again before the letter of intent
Yes.
is due.
And I was just saying, digging into that to see what were the specific areas that you could apply, because again, I just looked at it today.
And y'all could have a special meeting before December 4th. If you and I came back with a draft proposal, you could have a special meeting for everyone to approve. I mean, without knowing anything at this point, my thought would be a consultant, not a staff member,
Yeah.
to help with, develop some education on what Prop 3 is about and what the opportunities are for various levels of people, for developers, for real estate agents, because that's about all that I think is possible in 2024. And not the entire 200,000 or whatever the possibility is, but just a fairly narrowly focused project. But I don't know enough about it at this point to make specific proposals.
I don't know enough about it either, but I totally agree with Nancy. That's where I would go as well. I mean, proposing to hire another staff member at this time seems like a challenging thing. Bringing a consultant on to support this education process seems very well fitted for our needs right now.
Okay.
Keeping in mind that it still takes staff, because boards cannot hire or supervise a consultant. So it still does take staff, and that's where Denise would have to weigh in.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's where, I know I think I remember during council, when I was presenting to council, I feel like Denise was over there saying, and this is all HAB because we don't have capacity. And I feel like I remember her saying to even supervise or train a staff member, but she didn't say consultants. I don't.
can
to watch-
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Go ahead, Amy.
So this could be for staff in 2025. Okay. It doesn't have to be for this next year. It's it's just the letter of interest is right around the corner, because like Chair said, we're a little behind. Then we have basically the first quarter to put in the official application. But I am hesitant to right off the jump of even my position here on the board to go for a consultant. Like, I think some feedback I have from the community is like, it's consultant rich. There's always consultants, and I have worked in a city capacity, and I understand that those citizens don't always understand how grant management works. However, if this is something that we could talk to Miss Howell about for 2025 and supporting that up with their existing workload. To me, that seems like a better fit for Manitou than bringing on some more consultants.
I think we need, I think it's a great point for us to consider. And it sounds like we need to understand what this grant a little bit more.
Yep.
Like, is there a time frame? And what the limitations are and the boundaries. And so what do you think the next step is?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'll just, since I've started it, and like I said, I've watched some of it, I'll just set a time to meet with Nancy this week, like Friday. And we'll just I'll have time to dig into it a little bit more. And then I might end up calling then a special meeting if needed. And we could even do it via Zoom to catch you all if that's easier. Obviously I know Thanksgiving is coming up. I'll be out just that Thursday through the weekend, but maybe that first, we'll just see where we are. Either a few days before Thanksgiving, we can catch up. Are people around, or are anyone traveling next week? Okay. But then we have like the 27th, Monday, the 27th, right after Thanksgiving too. So, okay. Do I need to make any kind of motion or proposal, or I just say Nancy and I are meeting and potentially we'll have a special meeting?
Just please keep in mind that staff needs 24 hours to post a special meeting.
Okay.
And we do also have several night meetings and other meetings coming up that we would also need to schedule staff around because our Zoom is not accessible to just the board members. So there are several logistics here still with running just a Zoom meeting. So I would request that it not be on a Monday and scheduled over the weekend if you're the 24 hours need to be 24 business hours.
Okay.
Thank you.
Not on a Monday. I always forget about that.
A Monday is fine as long as we know about it before Friday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I get you.
Sorry, just to clarify.
Okay. $24 hours and we need to find, okay. So when I'm looking at something like that, is it Elena, Miss Krebs? Is she the one that would have like the scheduling?
No, it would be me.
It would be you. Okay. Okay. Got it. All right. Anything else? I mean, again, we have a lot to do, a lot to talk about with this. Anything specific today, today?
Well, I think that it would be good to touch on our next steps, and I think, as both you and Nancy alluded to, developing a plan is really critical to kind of outline our next year and what our path is going to be, at least what we think it will be, and focused particularly on the next 3 to 6 months and what activities we think we should be focusing on for this education piece. I think there's, we've already identified some key people or groups that we should be reaching out to in the near term. So as what would be kind of some of our first steps in that, in that planning process. I do think it would be really helpful to have somebody from DOLA to talk with us, in maybe our January meeting. And, assuming December probably wouldn't work out, but maybe our January meeting to to just like give us some grounding and have us all on the same page in terms of and talk through with them specifically about kind of what we think opportunities may be and then hear how other communities, similar communities might be addressing things or not addressing things, you know, given the limitations and opportunities of Prop 123. And so then in terms of a plan, I was just reading the notes, and Allison, you are the champion for Q1. It
I
says.
know, I
Yeah.
see that. I remember that because I raised my hand and Crystal's next, so.
But yeah, I just wanted to get feedback from everyone on how we best progress, because I think, you know, yeah, it's hard to develop a plan in a big group, and we've talked about subcommittees, and we've also talked some, you know, Amy, you've brought up like giving people tasks and just coming back to the next meeting with tasks completed are all probably are all tools that we need to wield as we move forward. And so, you know, maybe talking through what we think that looks like and putting together a plan in the short term so that we can kind of get that behind us and then begin executing it.
Sounds good. And yeah, you're right. We did talk about that, like, yeah, our quarters. So, and we wrote, 2 or 3 meetings per month, 2-person committees was just something that we had talked about. Because I think that does make sense if we don't want to have more than 1 meeting each month. But do you all on the screen remember when we talked about those things?
Yeah, I was just going to agree with Aaliyah. Like I like your idea of meeting with DOLA. I did get the impression when they were here at the city council meeting, because like even Councilman Shada was asking the representative questions, and this is my interpretation, but he was saying, well, it's a pilot program. As things become available, they become available. And like Chair said, we're a little bit behind. So I'm just wondering if this like webinar is something that like one person can summarize and send to the group. And then maybe we can all pinpoint, oh, that would work for Manitou. That would work in this first grant. Or it says the access to the grant portal, the DLG online grant portal. You know, maybe we could all go in there and see like, okay, if this looks like a good fit for a grant for us or something that we can do. I agree to kind of separate some of the workload, but as far as like DOLA, I almost feel like January, it's not that I disagree. It's just, I think January might be a little too soon for that.
Crystal, you have a question, your hand up?
Yeah, sorry. I'm like trying to get that down. Thank you. So I was just thinking, I am more than happy to look over because they have a form that you can download so that you can start preparing for the letter of intent that is due December. I would volunteer to review that and kind of do what Amy was talking about of giving some ideas and then sending that out for people to be able to speak into and, you know, make adjustments as needed.
Yeah, that would be great. Oh, thank you. So Crystal, we'll look into that. Appreciate that.
I can volunteer to maybe kind of develop a structure for our plan that then we can add to.
That would be great.
Nancy, I'm looking at you because you're so good at structures and plans. You've got many things, but that I know is one.
Yes. Thank you, Aaliyah. That is very helpful.
Chair, do you have access to this grants portal? Is that where you're watching this webinar?
It was just the link that I sent. If you click on that link that I sent,
Mm-hmm.
there was just like webinars. It said the slides, and then there was like a webinar you could listen to.
The DOLA grants portal is actually just a very technical portal to
Oh,
manage
okay.
grants that have already been awarded and to apply for grants. It's not like
Okay, sorry.
yeah. So I think we have 2 or 3 people in city staff that are authorized to do work.
Okay, so it's not there. It's more in these resources at the bottom. I see.
Yeah, so just when you if you clicked on that thing that's like up to first, if you scroll down, it shows like recording to the LPC webinar and then the slide.
Okay, I see.
And
So
you
then
can
PDF.
it's like a little timeline.
I see now. Sorry. Thank you, Chelsea.
Yeah. And I think that's where like what Chelsea was saying, that grants portal is what Hannah submitted the.
Yeah, that's like the official announcement. This
Yep.
is more what I was looking for. I got you.
Yeah, the Engage DOLA website has a lot of great information. And you can also just Google Engage DOLA. They've tried to make it really easy.
But this is really good information here. That I finally found. Can I share this with everybody? Or
What's that?
it's the PDF for the LPC grant program webinar. It tells everything about the program guidelines, and it gives the community development officer director, like basically what Elia was saying, like who we can talk to.
Yeah, you should. Again, I think it's what I sent in the email? The
Yeah,
link?
it's not way down, but you have to go down to resources.
Okay.
But yeah, it talks about the local match.
Okay.
This is really going to help educate everyone on the LPC grant if we want to do the fast track grant.
Well, and I think it's also good to remember that we would have to get invited to apply. So it is, kind of coming up with our ideas. I don't remember who said it earlier, but having a bit more conversation about what we're envisioning about, if that is consultant for now. And they also had on there that you could use some of the funds to work on an IGA, an intergovernmental agreement, so that we could collaborate with perhaps the city of Colorado Springs, or I don't think El Paso County opted in, but looking at, who could we partner with be more effective. So that might be another option as well. And somebody who knows more than me about what the board can or cannot do, if we can be part of that IGA or not, would be helpful information to know.
I'm also just seeing that whatever the fast track goals that we submit don't have to be achieved until 2026.
Yeah, and those were again, I didn't get through all of it, but it's this fast track thing is related to again, the consultant would be kind of working to figure out how this could work in the planning.
It has eligible projects. Do you want me to show you guys?
Fast tracking applicants who come to our city and say, I want to build affordable housing. It's a way to expedite just the applicants for affordable housing, not applicants to build, the motel or whatever. So that's what I believe a lot of it from, again, the half version of the webinar I listened to. So yeah, there's a lot of language in there, a lot of words that fast track and this
IGA. I see the IGA, Crystal.
yes.
IT solutions. Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, that's for the retreat, our first quarter is educating us on all of this. So that's why I just sent some like reading material again. I don't know if, as we said, different people want to take that on and then come back with a memo of those things. We can decide that now or next time in December might be a better time. Give people time to think about schedule. Does that work?
Yeah, I think we have some clear action items for various people for next meeting, or maybe
Yeah.
before next meeting if there's a special meeting.
All right.
But just to be clear, your chair and Nancy and Allison are meeting before the December 1st LIO. I mean, December 4th.
We're gonna meet hopefully this week, probably
Okay.
Friday. We'll see. We'll look at our schedules here to go
Okay.
over and see if it looks like it's something that we has potential to
Okay.
pursue, and I'll take the initiative to look at the slides or the webinar again to figure out, like, is there another opportunity to apply? I just wouldn't want to go a whole year and miss it, like we said, if we can get it. If
This
it
is
works.
showing, sorry,
Go ahead.
it's saying that there will be another grant application open in 2024 in April. So there is some more.
Okay.
From what I've read, it is not clear if that letter of intent needs to be. They just
Oh,
show
but
the,
it's saying that's when the pilot round of funding ends, is 2024.
but there was also a place, sorry, trying to get back to it, where it was talking about another, like the second.
Oh,
part of it.
second round, yeah, opened in spring 2024. I see. Okay.
And so even if we don't get it in,
Okay. Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
still more
Uh-huh.
a little for applying for some funds.
Yeah, because this is another rushed application, right?
Yeah.
We
And we'll
don't
just-
want to be behind the ball on everything. That's
Right. I know.
critical. Like,
we'll just do a little digging and see again. And if
Okay.
it's something we think we can do, we'll just continue to look onward.
Okay.
All we can do.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. All right, so we have some plans. Michael, did you get all those, or do you need me to repeat some of the things? Crystal's gonna look into the letter of intent just to get an idea. Nancy and I are gonna meet probably Friday. Aaliyah's gonna work on a structure.
Or a plan.
Yeah,
For the
and I just
plan.
wanted to throw that out, Aaliyah. I'd love to help support with that if there's anything that I can do.
Excellent. Thank you.
All right. Thank you all. Anything else on that topic for now? Nope. All right. Hearing none, we'll go into reports, city council liaison.
Yeah, I basically have nothing other than Allison did a very nice job last night at I don't know if any of you saw it, but it was, you did a good job. So, and
you.
I felt positive energy about the whole thing. So that was good. I heard a lot of so that's good. We're still doing budget. We're going to be approving the budget. So that was the purpose of last night's briefing that's why I'm thinking you may get $10,000, to plus it up, which is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
And $5,000 for the training, and I can't remember what else was on there. Yeah.
Marketing material.
Generally, exactly what's on that budget is what ends up in the budget. So fingers crossed. And I failed to go back and look at all, we've not been meeting a lot of late. So I can't remember what all we've done recently. So more to follow, but yeah, does anyone have any questions for me? It would appear not. Thanks.
Chelsea? You have
Uh,
anything?
So I also wanted to echo, I heard you do a wonderful job last night representing this board. Other than that, we kind of jumped the gun with our big news. So, we are, let's see. Yep. I don't think we have much else. So business as usual.
Thank you. Thank you for all your support again. Appreciate it. How about board members? Any reports? I don't think anyone should have had any reports. The only thing I had, it's not a report, but I did reach out to Abby. She was our an alternate who hasn't come to, I think, any of the meetings since our new board members have, and she just isn't able to continue to even stay as an alternate right now. So she just asked to have her name taken off. So as Nancy said, I would encourage all of us to reach out. You know, I was talking to Alan yesterday and he said, yeah, you got 7 people you could try to recruit for. And I don't know, were there 7 people that ran for city council? So I know some of them were on boards already, but if anyone knows, you know, someone that you feel like could be a good advocate for the work we're doing and a piece, I'll reach out, Nancy, to the woman that you suggested, because Abby was sort of our real estate person. So yeah.
Are there other skill sets that you should be looking for specifically? I mean, you've got a number in the homeless or the underhoused people. Got an environmental specialist engineer here. But are there any, and I think a real estate person probably would be a good person. Are there any other skill sets that would be particularly good that you should go out, target specific people that you can think of?
A retired planner.
Or a developer. Like,
That's true.
Keep in mind, I do believe they have to reside in Manitou to be on a board.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's right.
Well, isn't the Jenkins family in Manitou?
I don't know if they are anymore.
Who?
The Jenkins family. I think they've been longtime Manitou residents and they do a lot in building and real estate developing kind of arenas.
Yeah, but yeah, plan.
Yeah,
Anyone a planner?
I'm wondering about someone in the building construction trades. I mean, and somebody that owns a business in that area, not strictly a good carpenter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I do want to add that I'm going to be doing a lot of traveling coming up. So
Okay.
I'm an alternate.
Yes,
and-
for that reason.
but, yeah.
I appreciate that. So that's your gift. It's like being a substitute teacher. You're like, I'm gonna teach y'all, then I'm gone. No. So thank you. So we appreciate all the time that you're here and you have been like a full member. So thank you for, and yes, take your vacations. It's your opportunity to travel. So. All right. So yeah, that's the only things that I had. If we don't have anything else, we've got work to do offline. So I appreciate everyone. Stay safe and happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see you in November or December. Michael, I hope you're doing well and enjoying your time.
Yes,
Could I-
thank you so much. Bye.
Don't
Just-
forget the You shoot on Friday.
What's that?
I said, don't forget the turkey shoot on Friday.
Oh, okay.
It's lots of fun.
Good night. Thank you.
Night.
Bye, thank you.
was gonna say, I would suggest that you might have wanted to put the tentative special meeting perhaps on the 29th of November. Yeah, that's what, just tentatively at this point.
I'll look into it.
So Allison, let's coordinate schedules here. And I'll also set up sooner rather than later a meeting with you two and Debbie Sagan from at the URA. Yeah. So I'll get with